I'm thinking of quitting my job and starting my own business.
What? You want to start your own business? Don't joke around, there's no way that will work. In that case, how about you let me become independent too?
Huh? Independent? What do you mean?
Divorce. Divorce, I mean.
Huh? My name is Mia. I'm 37 years old and work while raising my children. I didn't work after my son was born, but fortunately I was able to be re-employed at my previous workplace when he entered junior high school. I mainly work from home. My son has grown up and will be an 8th grader in the spring. Now that things have settled down with childcare, I'm considering challenging myself with something new in my career. My husband is 40 years old and 3 years older than me. After we got married, he held a well-paying position as an assistant manager in the sales department. However, my confident husband decided to resign 6 months ago while taking paid leave. He started job hunting with the enthusiasm of getting a higher salary than before. However, the reality turned out to be the opposite. The salary offered was lower than his previous job, and ultimately, the company he joined had worse benefits compared to his previous company, with overtime being an everyday occurrence. My family back in my hometown runs a farm in the countryside. Since my son was young, he has been exposed to farm work, which has sparked his interest in heavy machinery and crops. Whenever we visit my parents' home, he eagerly helps out with enthusiasm. My parents were delighted to work in the fields together with their grandchild, who quickly absorbed knowledge and grasped things easily. They enthusiastically dedicated themselves to the work along with my son. However, it seems that my husband doesn't like the rural area where there is nothing. Whenever I visit my parents' home, he always finds excuses and doesn't make an effort to come along. I'm planning to use my long vacation this year to visit my parents for about a week. What about you?
Oh, I'll pass on that. I've been entrusted as the project leader and it's quite challenging.
All right, I understand. From the start, I knew my husband wouldn't come. However, he is still the head of the family. Even though I know he won't come, I ask just to save face. Furthermore, when my son and I embark on the trip to my hometown, my husband contacts us every day. I would be very happy if these messages were about our well-being or showing concern for the family. However, my husband sends trivial messages instead.
What should I have for dinner tonight?
Don't we have some pre-made dishes in the fridge?
I wasn't in the mood for meat. I want something light and refreshing.
Then why don't you buy something you like from the convenience store or supermarket?
Are you suggesting I just eat convenience store side dishes? Spare me.
Sorry. When I get back, I'll make whatever you like, so for now, could you have one of the pre-made dishes?
What should I wear for work tomorrow?
I've ironed everything and left them on the table next to the bed, so just wear one of those.
I have a business dinner tomorrow, but does this outfit seem off?
I didn't hear anything about a business dinner. Well, as long as it's a suit, it should be fine. That's how it goes when we're at my parents' house. My husband is always like this. He can't do anything by himself, and he doesn't even think about it. That's why most of the time I either respond to his messages casually or encourage him to think for himself. Also, it seems like my husband doesn't approve of my son and me going to my parents' house. It happens every time, but when I come back home after being away for a while, our house is overflowing with garbage.
Hey, Dad always makes a mess of the room whenever we go to Grandpa's house.
Yeah, you're right.
Why does it always end up like this? And Dad never cleans up either. Let's make you clean up after himself for once.
You're right. Even our son, who's entering his rebellious phase, is fed up with his father.
Being at Grandpa's house and doing farm work is fun, but when we come back home, it always becomes unpleasant.
Yeah, I feel the same way too.
Can't we just live at Grandpa's house? Both Grandpa and Grandma seem to be struggling with the farm work, and I really want to help them more.
If they hear that, they'll be thrilled. Our son possesses kindness and diligence that couldn't be more different from his selfish and immature father. Like my son, I'm also growing tired of my husband's unchanged attitude and childish thinking. And so, after my break, I returned to work after a long time. Several times a year, I have to go to the office for performance reviews and discussions about future goals. Inspired by my son's comment, I approached my supervisor with a proposal. Could we use our program to digitize agricultural products and promote digital transformation?
That's a great suggestion, but considering the cost, I can't give an immediate green light.
Indeed, it is not easy to make immediate decisions such as hiring people with expertise in DX or implementing new systems to promote digital transformation. However, I believe that building a better online shopping system will be significantly important going forward. I think we have ways to utilize the patents we have in dispatch personnel. Also, as an operational model, we already have potential candidate farmers who are willing to cooperate.
I see. Got it. Could you submit a proposal for now then?
Yes. Without delay, I explained the situation and sought cooperation from my parents. Due to the stagnant sales in their online store, they readily agreed without hesitation. My son's words of wanting to help because grandpa and grandma are struggling gave me a significant business opportunity. And 6 months after the proposal, my project was approved. From there, I threw myself into the work with great enthusiasm. To be honest, just like my son, I was concerned about my aging parents and the family business. So if this project goes well and I can assist my parents, it would be fulfilling for me as well. However, it was my husband who crushed my excitement.
What's gotten into you lately? You seem so cheerful every day.
Huh?
It's like you're getting the wrong idea that things are going well for you at work, aren't you?
Is that so?
Ugh, you're annoying, acting all high and mighty, aren't you?
Come on, don't say things like that. My husband is always like this. He just wants to make me feel miserable. Of course, I feel quite upset, but I resist with a mature attitude. I make an effort to maintain a smiling face without showing any change in my tone. For some reason, he has always been like this. Whenever I seem happy or when things are going well for me at work, he tries his best to say hurtful things and make me feel bad. This habit of his has become more prominent since we got married, but I'm used to it now, so I don't pay him any mind. Lately, since his sarcastic remarks no longer affect me, he's becoming more desperate.
I don't want to see your face. It's irritating.
Then why don't you just lock yourself in a room? I'll focus on my work and taking care of our son so you can handle your own things without any interaction, right?
Don't give me that serious response. You're so boring.
To be serious, my husband got red-faced and started shouting. It's just too childish. If things continue like this, I'll truly reach a point where I don't want to see his face anymore. Honestly, I've been thinking about separating or even getting a divorce from my husband. But how can I talk about this with my parents and my son? Do I say something like, I'm getting a divorce because my husband's attitude has become too difficult to handle? Can I really say something like that? Thinking about such things makes it difficult to make a decision. And then the defeated husband starts criticizing my parents' farm work. It's always like this.
You're so much like your country bumpkin parents. I can't stand it. It's obvious where you're from, you peasant.
He's 40 years old and yet, what is this man even saying? While I try to maintain composure, when he insults my own family, it tests my patience. He knows that's what he's doing. However, this time I've managed to keep a calm state of mind quite well. As someone who proposed and got my project approved, filled with motivation and confidence, I was immune to my husband's jealousy and resentment. Well then, are you incapable of work because you're a pampered city boy?
Hey, do you even know who you're talking to?
I know perfectly well. What are you saying?
Stop messing around. Cut it out.
No, I'll give you the same retort right back. Lately, we've been getting into these petty arguments. Before we got married and had children, he used to be a very kind husband. However, things started to change sometime before I started working, and just before my husband changed jobs, and he became overbearing. While our relationship became more strained, my career surprisingly took off. Although things were going well, considering the progress of my work and the state of the projects, I made the decision to resign from the company 6 months later. It was a sudden decision, But there were non-negotiable aspects that emerged in the ongoing project. So I engaged in discussions with the company and decided to change my employment contract and continue being involved while officially resigning as an employee. Of course, I had discussed with my husband, but he didn't understand my perspective at all. On the night I quit my job, an incident occurred. After our son went back to his room to sleep, it was just the two of us, and my husband suddenly exploded with anger and shockingly demanded a divorce.
Why the hell did you quit your job without consulting me? Quitting means you're relying on my earnings, doesn't it?
Hey, how many times do I have to say it? I intend to continue working. Even though I said independence, it's more like changing jobs. So it's not like I won't have any income and I'm not relying on your earnings to survive.
What? You want to be independent? Don't joke around. That's never going to work. Then how about you become independent from me too?
Huh?
Divorce. Divorce. I'm talking about divorce. Our child is already in middle school and there are various financial burdens. I have no intention of supporting another unemployed person.
I was taken aback by the sudden declaration of divorce and couldn't respond. It was because I was thinking about our son, who is the most important thing to me. Is it okay for a child at such a sensitive age to go through a divorce? Can I raise him as a single parent? Those thoughts were swirling in my mind when I heard a voice.
Fine, Mom. Get a divorce.
My son, who should have been in his room, stood in front of the living room door with a serious expression. In the face of my son's composed attitude and unexpected words, even my husband momentarily showed a surprised expression.
So you think the same way, huh? You don't want an unemployed mom, right? Besides, it's your fault for quitting your job without consulting me. I'm not at fault. It's a natural decision.
My husband, in front of our child, continued to make excuses and assert that he wasn't to blame. However, our son looked straight at me and said it once again.
Mom, get a divorce.
My son doesn't even consider my husband as someone important. Hey, are you serious? Do you understand what it means?
Yeah, I've always thought there was something wrong with Dad's attitude. He's always childish and even insults you. Mom, you don't have to consider staying together for the sake of the kids or anything like that. I want you to get a divorce. For me, for our family, and for Grandpa and Grandma. I can't stand him constantly belittling their work.
Oh, thank you. But getting a divorce isn't easy, you know. It would mean changing schools and... Are you sure it'll be okay?
Yeah, I'm prepared for it. Let's go now. Actually, I've already packed my things so I can go to Grandpa's place anytime. Dad has gone too far with his foolishness. There's nothing left to say to him, right?
I guess. Then let's really do it.
Huh?
Once it's come to this, we're leaving.
Wait, hold on a sec.
What?
I'm not the one at fault here. You'll come crawling back to me later.
Yeah, we're leaving for now. We'll contact you later. Well, take some time to cool down. You won't have to see my face anymore, so you can relax.
Huh? You're telling me to cool down? Huh. That's right, I can finally relax without you all bothering me.
Ignoring my husband's shouting and yelling, I headed to the room to pack my belongings. About an hour later, ignoring my grumbling husband, I left the house with my son. It took some time to travel, but once we arrived at my parents' home, my son seemed to relax. Furthermore, despite my concerns, my son has been enjoying himself and building good relationships with others at his new school after the transfer. With my son settled, my husband and I had another discussion about the divorce. He claimed that my resignation was to blame for this divorce and insisted he wouldn't pay any alimony. Despite my disbelief, I made my own assertions while feeling exasperated. I will properly demand alimony from you.
Huh?
Well, I conducted some personal investigations for this divorce, and you are at fault, right?
You're really a country bumpkin, aren't you? Your intelligence is lacking. And do you even know what being at fault means? I'm not at fault. I haven't done anything.
What? No, you definitely have done something. You've been having an affair, haven't you, with Nancy?
Huh?
Nancy. Oh, come on. You've been having an affair with someone named Nancy, right? I laid out the evidence photos of my husband's affair and the correspondence on the table.
Huh? What are you talking about?
When everything is laid out like this, it's hard to play dumb, isn't it?
Wait, you were spying on me? What you're doing is a crime.
Huh? You married a person doing something like this, so you're the one violating the law, right? Besides, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I didn't gather these myself. Someone else did.
You were unemployed, so how did you have the money to hire a detective?
Of course, I did hire a professional, but it was our son who took these photos.
Huh?
This photo and this one too, it was our son who was keeping an eye on you. It seems that after we separated, our son witnessed my ex-husband walking arm in arm with a young woman. And then our son used his laptop to sync my ex-husband's phone, and that's when a flood of evidence of the affair came out. He showed me that data, and it prompted me to make a formal request to the investigators to proceed with the case. Our son really supported and encouraged the divorce. Our son truly despises the fact that you, his father, are capable of such dirty deeds. That's why I can divorce you without any reservations. You know, it's utterly disgusting that our child was the first one to uncover your infidelity. You really are a hopeless man. There's no point in making excuses anymore. And by the way, your job change was actually because of a woman, wasn't it? It seems you even paid compensation to the spouse of the person you had an affair with. You've been lying all along about how your job change resulted in poor conditions, constant overtime, and reduced salary. I've investigated everything, you know. At this point, my husband's face turned pale, and he teared up. I'm truly grateful to have a son who is far more exceptional than you. Oh, if only our son could inherit my company in the future, everything would be secure.
Hey, I'm sorry. I sincerely apologize for everything. Please reconsider, won't you? Come on, even you would struggle with the child's situation if you remained unemployed, right?
No, I'm divorcing you, and it's you who will be in trouble, won't it? If you refuse to pay alimony, child support, and give up parental rights, I can contact your company and report everything to HR, you know.
Come on, you're joking, right? You wouldn't do something like that.
Well, if you end up getting fired, you can just find another job. Looks like you'll become skilled at changing jobs. My husband pleaded for help while sobbing, but I completely ignored him. Even after that, he kept delaying signing the divorce papers and tried to buy time until a solution came up. Since I had no more sympathy for my husband, I hired a lawyer and left everything to them to expedite the divorce process. And within a week, the divorce was finalized. It seems my husband wanted to avoid the payment amount from increasing further. He ended up burdened with significant alimony for 2 cases and had to pay child support. Furthermore, if he had to cover his own legal fees, he would have been practically penniless. Afterward, my ex-husband willingly paid the alimony and child support in a lump sum. Since he couldn't afford to pay using his savings, he took on debt and made a point to inform me about it. He desperately tried to appeal, saying he always put me first, but I didn't care enough to give it any thought. Of course, I also demanded compensation from his affair partner. However, unfortunately, my ex-husband and his affair partner got into a major fight, and then their relationship with the affair partner came to an end. The affair partner seemed furious, questioning why she had to pay compensation, but in the end, she paid it properly. It seems she was disowned by her parents and incurred debts. As for my ex-husband, he couldn't afford the rent for the condominium, so he sold it and moved to his 30-year-old apartment while continuing to pay off the remaining mortgage. On the other hand, I have found success in my work and enjoy each day with enthusiasm. Although things didn't work out well with my ex-husband, I have been able to apply what I learned from my previous job to our family business effectively. Through digital transformation, our online sales have grown, and my technologically challenged parents are very pleased. In the end, everything, including our family business and the divorce, was saved by our son. While I have some reservation about giving a middle schooler a smartphone and a laptop, it seems like my son handles them well. His favorite activity, tending the farm, remains unchanged, and he seems to be seriously considering taking over my work. Recently, He has started learning how to create websites and build e-commerce sites through self-study. With his middle school years ahead, he has so much potential for growth. I'm excited about my son's future. Thank you very much for watching until the end.